This is a demo video for the kids who want to do un autorretrato en el estilo de Frida Kahlo y el surrealismo. Your first step is to take a picture of yourself, a selfie, some might say, using your camera app on your iPad. Think about what expression you want to have on your face for your autorretrato, and then take your picture close up, just your head, in front of a white background. Now, you need to upload your photo to Maestra Suo's Google Drive so that she can print it on a nice piece of paper for you for your autorretrato. Go to your Google Drive and log out of your name and then enter Maestra Suo, password Ramsey Spanish, to get into the Spanish Google Drive. Look for the folder called Frida Kahlo Selfies, open it, and then upload a photo from your camera roll into that folder. Now, Maestra Suo will be able to print out your photo for your autorretrato. While you are waiting for your photo to be printed, you can work on your simbolismo, your symbols that will go around your head in your autorretrato to give it meaning, to personalize it, and to make it more interesting. Grab an extra piece of white paper and use it to do some sketching. If your sketches turn out good, you could cut them out and actually just paste them on your autorretrato. For me, there are some things that symbolize who I am. I'm drawing some of the things that symbolize who I am or what I like to do. Aquí está una brocha para pintar, una luna. My daughter's name is Lucia Luna. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Lucy Luna.
My grandma's last name is Extam, which is an oak trunk. So an acorn is something that symbolizes our family. I drew my dog Bella. I drew a reindeer because my ancestors are from northern Sweden where people herd reindeer. And I'm using my phone to try to draw a snowflake right now. I messed it up a little bit, not that big of a deal, but it only has 5 points. Snowflake should have 6. So it's a good thing that this is just a sketch and I'm just practicing. Hopefully later I can draw it the right way on my final photo. Once you have your photo and your sketches for your simbolismo, you can decide if you want to draw them directly onto the background of your photo or if you want to cut out your head and put it onto a clean piece of white paper so you have a whiter background to work with. Mine's pretty light, but yours may turn out darker and you may not want to have a color back there to work with, but I'm going to try to just work with mine as it is. Now would be a good time to look at some of el simbolismo en los autorretratos de Frida Kahlo. Aquí vemos flores, colores, y patrones. In this one we see colors, patterns, and flowers. Whereas this one is más sencillo, or more simple, with just a blue necklace and her face highlighted. El simbolismo en este autorretrato incluye a Diego, su esposo, en su frente. In this self-portrait, we see her husband, Diego, on her forehead. The lines that come out from her white veil almost look like a spider web. I'm sure that these things all have meaning to Frida Kahlo, and that's why she put them in the painting. And in this autorretrato de Frida, el simbolismo is a hand hanging from her ear like an earring and a thorny necklace around her neck. The thick leaves and foliage behind her, as well as the little ribbon below her with the message written on it, all give meaning to this autorretrato. When I added simbolismo to my autorretrato, first I drew it in pencil, and then I went back and I outlined it again with Sharpie in case I messed up. I wanted to make sure that the elements that I added incorporated my head or worked with my head somehow. Frida always adds things to her head, puts animals on her shoulders, clothing around her face, flowers in her hair. All these things connect her with the symbols. So what I did here is I took some of my symbols from my drawing sheet the other day, and I added antlers on my head. I hung paintbrushes from them, and then I have cedar boughs, because my last name is Cedar Leaf, coming out of the sides of my head. The paintbrushes are going to be dripping, and the paint is going to be building up on my shoulders. And the last thing I did was make a little necklace out of a separate piece of paper that I'll put around my neck, and each of the balls on the necklace has a special symbol. As you're painting, you can use the watercolors to color in the things that you've drawn. The Sharpie should not bleed. That's why we chose those. And you want to mix your colors on the palette over here in this space before you put them on your paper so you make sure you have the right color. You can always wash your watercolors in the sink if they're all dirty to start out. It's also a good idea to do that because then all your colors will be wet and ready to go. Frida Kahlo would have used oil paints. Oil paints are thicker, they have more pigment in them, and they require mineral spirits and turpentine and different solvents to get them to clean up and to get them to be wet. We don't use those in school because they are too stinky. Now, if you think it's hard painting like this with watercolors, imagine how Frida painted. After her accidents and all of her medical problems, she was painting laying in bed with the canvas above her, upside down basically. She did many, hundreds of paintings that way. That was one of the reasons that she did so many autoretratos. She was basically confined to her bed. She had a mirror she could look at, but she had very little other things that she could reference while she was doing her painting. Here's my finished autoretrato. I think that it has a lot of elements of surrealismo because it's not quite realistic, but it does have some things in it that you can recognize. I painted the necklace separate, and when it's dry, I'm going to glue it on. And I'll sign my name down here when this is dry in the bottom right corner. Okay, buena suerte con tu arte. If you have any questions, come find me.